The FCS College Football Experience Week 2 preview and picks episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by the SGPN Free Roll Football Contest. Yes, join our free rolls, our free season-long free roll contest, which is Pick'em. It's absolutely fantastic for your chance to win $3,000 and a Super Bowl autographed SGP helmet. Sign up at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/contest. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Snag the tickets without the stress. Use the promo code CFBX for $20 off. Once again, download the Game Time app. Use that promo code CFBX for $20 off. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, play the Underdog Pick'em in college or NFL and win up to 20 times the amount of money you enter in one game. Use the promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. We're also brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use the promo code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any NFL game. Only on the DraftKings Sportsbook with the promo code SGP. And finally, we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use that promo code SGPN for 50% off your first month. And start making smarter bets today, people. And as always, remember to let it ride.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
College Football Experience. Yes. Oh, another week. It's football season, folks. And look, you can't. We love the FBS, but hey, the FCS is where our heart is at. Let's go. All right. And we got a great week 2 lineup. I know people are saying, well, they haven't beaten FBS this year. Relax. Relax. All right. The matchups haven't been there. All right. It's all about matchups. People thinking, oh, the talent level's dropped off. No, I completely disagree. If anything, I think it's more talented because of how many transfers are coming in. You're probably wondering who the hell you're listening to, and that's fair. My name is Colby Swigget Database Dad, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
Sometimes that's what you gotta do. If you're if you're one of those teams that took an L week 1, you gotta pretend like it never happened and move forward. FCS football, baby. We're covering it all on the FCS College Football Experience. You can watch this live on YouTube, youtube.com/the College Experience, right there. Subscribe, sg.pn/FCS. We got it all, and I'm excited to bring you it all. We got a couple games, kicking off tonight. Sneaky game. Barton and Davidson. Davidson took a loss out the gates to VMI. There's no line on that one, because Barton is not it's an FCS school. It's not an FCS school, I'm saying. But we do got the Battle of Indiana, the Sycamores. We're just jumping right into this. We got some big-time matchups, and we got a lot of games to cover. But the Sycamores are taking on the Indiana Hoosiers in about 10 minutes. 31.5 points is what you're getting. I say you take it. I know they look terrible and lost to Eastern Illinois 27-0. But they didn't have their starting quarterback. I think he's going to go, and I'm referring to reigning Missouri Valley Freshman of the Year, Cade Chambers. And the Mallory angle. I think that's important, when looking at this game, is the fact that legendary Indiana Hoosiers head coach Bill Mallory, rest in peace. His son coaches at Indiana State. So maybe a sympathy play. Take the points. All right? We hit on Louisville last night, minus the points. Maybe you just take a little sprinkle. I don't know. It's Friday night. We have a standalone game. Well, let's talk about Saturday's action because we got a loaded slate, guys. This is much better than week one, in my opinion, as far as the FCS slate. So I'm delighted to bring it to you, and it's going to start off with a banger. And I think this is where the puck stops as far as some of the people say, well, the FCS didn't win a game week one. And I feel like people that don't actually cover the FCS are making these statements like, oh, the talent disparity is worse in the FCS. No, if anything, they've gotten more transfers from the FBS than before, which I think makes their talent level better. It's just finding the right matchups. And when I see Holy Cross getting 14, now, folks, I will preface it with this. FCS lines jump like crazy, all right? So if your book doesn't have it right now and it's jumping out later tonight or tomorrow morning, there is a high chance that the number will be completely different. However, 14 points in the Holy Cross Crusaders. I am a bit dumbfounded as they go into Chestnut Hill. But Holy Cross is located in Boston, in case you don't know, folks. So what you essentially have is you have like a backyard battle here. This is a rivalry game that goes all the way back to 1896. And it's the 84th meeting. There's even a book on this. If you're real swift and love college football, get yourself out there and read Wally Carew's book on this rivalry that he published in 2012. It's called A Farewell to Glory, The Rise and Fall of an Epic College Football Rivalry. I highly recommend it. But if you haven't followed Holy Cross football over the past couple of years, they haven't lost a regular season game in 3 years. Matthew Saluka, I like to call him Tim Tebow 2.0. He can play. And if you look at last season, South Dakota State Jackrabbits win the FCS National Championship. The team that gave him the biggest fits out of that whole run was the Holy Cross Crusaders. It was a much closer game than the final score indicated. Going into the fourth, it was, I think, a one-score game, if memory serves me correct. I think, I mean, I'll put it like this. Northern Illinois went into to Boston College and won last week. Maybe that's a wake-up call for Jeff Hafley, as, there's a high chance that he's fired if he can't, right this ship and get BC to a bowl game. However, I think Holy Cross is better than Northern Illinois. So you're telling me I'm getting 14 points? I think there's a money line play. If your book's got it, you hop over there, you bet this thing on the money line. I think they got the better quarterback. I think they're more physical along the line of scrimmage. I think they have a better defense. I know it sounds crazy. Crusaders, let's go. Love that game on the schedule, by the way. And shout out some of these matchups this week. Fantastic if you know the history of these college football matchups. Let's get over to the second game here. I'm going to go chronologically as far as when the times kick. This is also at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Stonehill taking on Central Connecticut State. Central Connecticut State did have a blowout win against, I think it was American International. Didn't even know. I don't even know where that is. American International. Shout out to them, though, because they're playing football. And as I try to locate this line right now but this is an intriguing game because, Stonehill, obviously hasn't been in the FCS that long, and Central Connecticut State breaking in a brand new head coach, just a week ago. This is one I'm very intrigued by and I think you can get this one on the NEC app, folks. So if you're real swift, the NEC app free to download in the App Store or Google Play Store, I believe. But yeah, if you get access to that, and yeah, I don't think I actually. Wait, do I have a line? Yeah, there we go. Central Connecticut State is laying 13.5 points. NEC Stonehill was preseason picked to finish 6th in the NEC. As Eli Gardner's, breaking in as he's the 7th year there as a head coach. Meanwhile, the new Blue Demons head coach, Adam Lechtenberg, who came over from Virginia Tech, was part of Justin Fuente's staff. This is going to be interesting because I think you take Stonehill in the points all day, and I actually think this is a solid bet. I just don't think Central Connecticut State's just going to blow them out. So you're getting 13.5. I think you ride with Stonehill, and I think it's a pretty solid play. I won't lock it just because of the uncertainty of Central Connecticut State's win against American International. I don't know what to really take from that, but I'll tell you, this is pretty close to a lock. Let's move along. The Delaware Blue Hens. First time they're ever playing at Penn State, even though they're right there. Border battle, as Patty C says. And what you have here is, Delaware, they're throwing money behind this football program. They're trying to go to the FBS. Meanwhile, Penn State's coming over that, big-time rivalry win against West Virginia. And I think it's a kind of a letdown spot in a way, but at the same time, Delaware lost a lot of veterans from a season ago. This line I'm seeing at Delaware minus 39, Penn State minus 39.5. Ryan Carty, year 2 at Delaware. Obviously, he knocked off Navy in the season opener in his first game as a head coach. He used to play quarterback at Delaware. They don't have Nolan Henderson anymore. He graduated, so they're kind of going with 2 quarterbacks. I actually think you got to take Penn State. I think you got to take Penn State here. As much as I want to say Delaware gives them a game, I just think that's a toxic environment, and Delaware's got a lot of question marks all over the place. So I actually think I don't feel good about this. I don't think you should play it, but if I had to go one way, I think I would lay the points with Penn State. Moving along, some more FBS on FCS matchups there. Youngstown State. The Trestle Bowl. We got the Trestle Bowl here as they're taking on Ohio State. Now, Ohio State has played them a couple times, and they've called off the Dogs. So when you see a spread sitting there at 43 points or 42.5, it's tempting because historically they've called off the Dogs, and they, Jim Tressel's still involved with the Youngstown State program. But Ohio State wasn't super impressive against Indiana a week ago. So I think we actually lay it again, even though I know that the 2 other times they've played, they've kind of gone light on them. Once the 3rd and 4th quarter come, they kind of bring in the backups and 30-point games, 38-point games, something like that. But I think Ohio State needs to get points here. Impress. Home opener. I think they get it done. I think you lay the points. All right, look, folks, before we get to the next game, I want to tell you that the FCS College Football Experience on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by the Free Roll Football Contest. Have you signed up yet, people? Because what are you doing? Thursday night game's already kicked. This is in your final moments. You got 48 hours. Season-long NFL Pick'em Contest, $1,000 for first place, $500 for second place. And if you're a Patreon member, which you should be, you get $2,000 for first place, $1,000 for second place. Think about that. Plus, also, if you're a Patreon member, you win the Free Roll Football Contest, you'll also get an autographed full-size Sports Gambling Podcast helmet with all of our friends that have been to the studio. Joe Theismann, Bill Romanowski, Pac-Man Jones, John the Spider, Sally, remember him on the Bad Boys, Eric Metcalf, shout out to Eric Metcalf, great guy, LeGarrette Blunt, all their signatures on this football helmet. So what are you doing? Sign up. Links at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/contest, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to get your chance to double your prizes and win the weekly Patreon Pick'em. We're also brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Yes, we've had 7 months essentially without NFL, before last night. 7 months without NFL action. That game was fun to watch, even though I feel like the Chiefs' right tackle was offsides every play, false start every play. But it was a crazy good game. And folks, we got football back. We got the NFL back too. The NFL is here, and the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving you a can't-miss offer for Week 1. This week, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any NFL game. Look, I mean, what a deal. $5? You can't, even if you're broke, even if you're flat broke, you quit your job, your girlfriend dumped you, whatever. You can find, call old Rebecca, say, look, I know you dumped me, but give me $5. Boom. Next thing you know, you got $205 in your account. You could care less about that relationship. I don't know what I'm talking about, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it's a great deal. All right. Look, back when I was single, I'm a married man now, but back when I was single, I feel like kind of don't want to be in a relationship during football season, right? Especially if you're young enough. These are the things that matter. Download the app now. Use the promo code SGP to sign up. New customers can take up $200 in bonus bets instantly just for betting $5. Once again, that's promo code SGP on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours, people. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and see specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. We're also brought to you by the Game Time app. All right, look, buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't be that stressful. All right? And somehow, some way, I guarantee you, you have moments in your life where they become stressful, right? I use this example. I've talked about whether it's an FCS football game, which I remember a situation in Missoula where I was at Washington Grizzly Stadium and I thought I was just going to be able to get a ticket. It was a stressful thing. I ended up getting it. But also, I mean, even if it's not sports, if you're trying to go see, my wife's trying to see all the hottest plays, so you're trying to go see Hamilton or something, I don't know. Shit, you think it's, you just walk up to you think you're just going to walk in there and get a ticket. You're crazy. You're not going to get that. Book of Mormon, good luck. All right? So, you got to have angles. And one of the angles I recommend is Game Time because it's a fast and easy way to buy tickets for whether it's sports, whether it's music, whether it's comedy or theater that is near you. And they got killer last-minute ticket deals and the best price guarantee, which I'll talk about in a second. But you could stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for all the fun you'll be having at that event. Because let's be honest, whether you're at Washington Grizzly Stadium doing Jaeger bombs in the parking lot, getting ready for the football game, or if you're going to go see Hamilton and you're a man, you're going to definitely need to do some Jaeger bombs, in the parking lot before go to the bathroom. That's what the airport bottles are for, right? Anyway, folks, you got to check out the Game Time app, all right? Forget planning months in advance, all right? Because Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the very day of the event. And they give the Game Time guarantee, which is fantastic, all right? You'll always get the best price, essentially. And get this, if you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Woo! Right? Shit, that could be your job. Anyway, you got to check it out. All right, snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, terms apply. CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right. We are back on the college football experience. And I know Mike Rose, by the way, shout out to Mike Rose. He hosts this show with me, but he's, had some travel issues. And the show must go on, all right? So I'm solo Dundee, just in the land down under, but we're going to make a lot of money. And that's why you should be checking us out. Shout out to the chat, by the way. I see the chat rolling along. And we got some fire plays ready for you here. But next up, we do have Delaware State taking on Army. Delaware State lost to Bowie State, a D2 school last week. Army lost to ULM. I was on ULM as a 10-point dog on the money line. You're welcome. And, they're doing the shotgun at Army, which is just ridiculous. But this is a gigantic spread. 40 points Army's laying. I don't like it, but Delaware State was so bad, I feel like we should probably lay it. Don't bet this game because Army's going to bleed that clock, even though they're passing the ball. I don't think it's a refined passing attack. So maybe you take the points. I don't know. I struggled with this game, but Delaware State looked like trash last week. I don't know. I feel like stay away. But if gun to my head here, I'll lay the points with Army. We do have a barn burner here. Sacred Heart, Georgetown. Okay. I know fans out there are probably saying, why are you talking about it? Look, Sacred Heart came into the preseason with high expectations. They lose to Lafayette 19-14 week one. Shocking to me that they lost that game. And then you have the Georgetown Hoyas where, I know me and Mike took the Hoyas, but I was not expecting them to whoop Marist, the Red Foxes, the way that they did, 49-7. What a nice ass whooping. And this is at Cooper Field. And I think, you look back and they haven't played since 2010 when Sacred Heart won by 13. I think the Hoyas are in a decent spot, especially judging by Sacred Heart's performance against Lafayette. to move to 2-0. And I was shocked because Georgetown's starting quarterback dipped out to Eastern Illinois. Eastern Illinois just looked fantastic. And I thought, I was not so confident on the Hoyas this year, but that was a very impressive performance. It's going to be fascinating to watch. This one, though, the line is sitting at, once again, this is in Washington, D.C., Cooper Field. The Hoyas are laying 1.5. I'll be honest, I think Sacred Heart has a better roster. But they didn't execute the way they should have a week ago. And since I'm from Washington, D.C., let's take the Hoyas, baby. Let's go. Next up, we move to, and keep an eye on that Central State Dayton game. Central State, that's going to be a fun one there. As the Flyers have their home opener. There's no line on that. Same with Virginia Lynchburg and Presbyterian. I feel like Presbyterian's probably going to lose that. South Carolina State taking on Georgia Tech. Yellow Jackets. All right, now Buddy Pugh, final season, legendary coach in South Carolina. But, man, they did not look good out the gate against Jackson State. They did cover against Biff Poggi and the Charlotte 49ers, but I don't know. I mean, I just feel like even with that, if Charlotte doesn't throw an interception early in the game, I feel like they probably would have covered. Georgia Tech's laid 45 points. You might even be able to find 45.5 out there. Give me the points. Give me the points. I know South Carolina State's terrible. Give me the points. I don't feel good about that one, though. New Hampshire's taking on Central Michigan. These have been very interesting games lately. They've played, I think this is the third matchup. The first two were one-score games. New Hampshire, obviously, one of the favorites to win in the CAA. And I think this game's fascinating because you have Central Michigan, who for one half looked really good against Michigan State. Then, the floodgates open, and they end up getting beat down. Bertie Manuel Jr., it was fun watch there at CMU. And then you have, obviously, Max Brosmer for the Wildcats of New Hampshire, are kind of like a blue blood in the FCS. Fascinating game here. I see CMU's laying 13.5. I say you got to take the points, but I do think CMU's going to win the game. I thought about this a lot. I was like, I think New Hampshire can scare them, but CMU is I was pretty impressed with them along the line of scrimmage against Michigan State, at least for the first half. If they can duplicate that now, is it a get-up spot for them? I don't know, because you play Michigan State, that's little brother against big brother. So take the points. Maybe New Hampshire can pull it off. So I like that angle there. Also, Taylor taking on Butler. We don't have a line on that, but the Butler Bulldogs, impressive performance in Missoula. I'm going to be interested in watching the Bulldogs as the season continues in the Pioneer League. St. Thomas taking on South Dakota. Now, South Dakota, I thought, played better in Columbia, Missouri than I expected them to. So there's that. St. Thomas, who I know, watch out, 10 years from now, they'll probably be in the FBS. They're throwing lots of money behind that program, and I enjoy them jumping up from D3 to D1, essentially in the FCS, and it's a fun watch. I love, I'm rooting for them, but at the same time, this is at the Dakota Dome, and judging by how I saw them play against Black Hills State, which that was a close game. St. Thomas got the dub. I think you got to go here when you look at this matchup and say, well, I don't know how you could take them, but then you see the spread and you say, wait, 30 points. I will take the 30 points. I'll take the 30 points. They'll keep it within, give me like South Dakota by 21, 24, something like that. So sign me up for that. Eastern Illinois, one of the better storylines I thought from week one was how well Eastern Illinois looked. If you go and look at what was done with the Panthers, Pierce Holly, obviously the Georgetown transfer that I was alluding to, 19 of 30, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. I thought he was super impressive. The ground game wasn't amazing, but hey, Bowling Green lost to an FCS a year ago. Now, granted, that was Eastern Kentucky, who ended up in the FCS playoffs, but I was impressed with Eastern Illinois. I know Indiana State had a backup quarterback. However, I just think they're heading in the right direction. So you look at and Wilkerson. This is his second year as the head coach of EIU. They're getting 23.5 points. I'll take the points. EIU keeps it closer. Bowling Green, even though Bowling Green probably should have, had that game with Liberty a lot closer, pick 6. I think they had a block kick for a touchdown too, like Liberty did against them. So maybe Bowling Green runs away with it, but I think based on what I saw of week 1, I'll take the points. Not a lock, though. Not a lock by any means. Moving along. I am fascinated to watch that one. It's going to be on ESPN+. Charleston Southern's taking on Clemson for the first time ever. Clemson's laying 43.5 points. Lay it. I think we should actually lock this. Charleston Southern looked really bad. They were very fortunate to get a dub against North Greenville to open the season. Now you're telling me Clemson, after all the media, has been coming down on Dabo. They've been coming down on Garrett Riley. Cade, you can find me in the club. Lay the big number with the Tigers. I think they're going to put it on Charleston Southern there. One of my favorite games of the day. I'm super excited to see Holy Cross Boston College. I'll be honest, that's like one of my favorites. There's a few other that I love, and one of them is a SoCon matchup. Shout out to our boy Weehawk, because I know he's a huge Catamount fan, Western Carolina. Let's take a look at this, though. Samford heading into essentially Western Carolina. The city, Kolawee. I've never been there. I don't know how to pronounce it. I sound like a moron. Welcome to the college football experience. But no. Samford, obviously Michael Hiers, a stud. 5 touchdowns, on the season already. This guy, remember he put a scare, I feel like, at the Swamp a couple years ago. They beat Shorter University 69-14 out the gate. I don't know how much we can deduce from that, but I know Samford is going to be a very good team this year. And they fire the ball, they run the air raid, the Leach air raid. It's going to be, and he's one of the better quarterbacks in all of the FCS. I think he's got a shot at playing on Sundays. I think it's going to be fun to watch that. But on the other side of things, I'm excited about this Western Carolina team. I know you look and say, well, they got destroyed against Arkansas, but okay, we knew that was going to happen. I was surprised that they played both quarterbacks. Kerwin Bell, former Florida Gator, a CFL player, NFL player, he's done a really good job, I think, improving Western Carolina really fast. But one thing I hate is the multiple quarterbacks thing. Cole Gonzales and Charlie Dean. Remember, Charlie Dean comes over from Harvard. Now, you look at the stats against Arkansas. Charlie Dean threw 3 picks. Can't have that, right? But you're playing Arkansas. He was 15 of 23, 98 yards, only 4.3 yards of completion. So I don't think he's going to get the start based on that. Cole Gonzales on the other side, 9 of 14, 118 yards, 8.4 yards of completion, still threw a pick. No touchdowns for either of them, but you're playing at, in Little Rock against the Arkansas Razorbacks. But I do think this is a game. I'm fascinated to watch this game. This is easily one of my favorite games of the day to watch. You look at this line, and Samford has been the better team over the past few years. So I think this is why this line is that. They're laying 13.5. I love Western Carolina plus the 13.5. I love it. I thought Western Carolina went out and was super active in the portal. They brought in some great guys. Now I get it. They got to figure out the quarterback situation. And you did just play at Arkansas. The Razorbacks beat you down, and sometimes week 2 after playing a real physical team, it's not great for the very next week. However, I just think it's too many points. Fascinated by this game. I think this game could matter. There's certain games this weekend that matter as far as the playoff picture, because you figure if these teams don't win the conference, which we would say SoCon, Furman's favored to win the conference. So then you got to have the resume, and this is why these wins matter so much. The same can be said with the Northern Iowa game they're hosting Weber State. That's a huge game, and there's another one out there we'll talk about too. I think everyone knows what we're talking about, but I'm fascinated by watching this one at Bob Wooders Field at E.J. Whitmire Stadium. Shout out to Weehawk, and I think you take the points in Western Carolina, but I think that's one of the this week 2 slate, FBS or FCS. It's fire, absolute fire. So Southern Utah BYU, they've only met once before. I was impressed. I was on Southern Utah plus the points. I locked that up against Arizona State as they almost won outright. I know their coach has had some comments regarding the Arizona State program, and which will make it very interesting to see, if they schedule again. But fascinated by this game, and the fact that BYU really struggled offensively against Sam Houston State. Now, they won 14-0. Sam Houston got down to the 1-yard line and threw a pick, and also got another turnover on their side of the field as well. Sam Houston's better than Southern Utah, though. But I do like this Southern Utah team. I think they're going to be a player in the UAC. I thought the preseason polls are off on Southern Utah. I think they're going to be a player. So when I look and I see this line, though, I do expect BYU to bounce back. It's in Provo. They gotta really start getting it going as Big 12 plays right around the corner. And then they also have that trip to Arkansas, actually, before that, I believe. BYU's laying 23. I went back and forth on this, but I think you should actually lay the 23. I wouldn't be surprised if it's maybe a game in the first half. And I know that offense has got some question marks, but Jay Hill, I thought, was doing a great job on the defensive side of the ball with BYU. Remember, former Weber State head coach. I think you got to lay the points at the end of the day. So, Eastern Kentucky's taking on Kentucky. Kentucky's laying 34.5 points. Last time they played, well, I think last two times they played, they kept it within 14, I believe. One of the games, I think, went to overtime. EKU, what happened? I get it, Walt Wells back. Parker McKinney, I mean, I did not think – I was way off on that game against Cincinnati. I thought with the points, we bet it. Cincinnati whooped that ass, and it has me very, very weary. But you do have the little brother point. I'm going to ride the Colonels one more time. Give me the 34.5. But, man, I don't feel good about this one after watching them last week. Campbell is taking on the Citadel. Citadel, obviously, the NCAA rule change is, I think, a big deal. They got shut out in Statesboro against Georgia Southern. Meanwhile, Mike Minter, the Campbell Camels, did cover for us week 1 against the William & Mary Tribe. I think this is kind of a fascinating matchup. I want the Citadel to get good, but they're breaking in a new head coach, and I think that's, there's a little bit of a curve there now. I'm surprised to see Campbell just a 3-point favorite. I think we load up on Campbell. Haj Malik Williams, 7th-year starting quarterback. I mean, what am I missing here? They lost to William & Mary is going to be really good. I think this is a good team. I like the running backs, McDowell, Lamega McDowell. He's a stud. I think we bet heavy on the Campbell Camels. Lock it up. All right, moving along. VMI, shout out. Danny Rocco comes in game 1, gets a dub against Davidson, and made the FCS playoffs. Past 2 years, I think, right? Two or three. Shout out to Danny Rocco. They're heading to PA to take on Bucknell, the Bison, and Bucknell actually pretty impressive performance against JMU. VMI is laying 15 against Bucknell, 15.5 actually. I think you got to take Bucknell based on what I saw. I think this is almost lock-worthy. Ride the Bison. Take the Bison plus 15.5. I know they're offensively challenged, but so is Danny Rocco's football teams. It's not like they just put it on Davidson. Scored 13 points. Take the points and Bucknell. Let's go. Wagner, the vacuum company's heading to Annapolis to take on Navy. Brian Newberry looking for his first win of his coaching career in Annapolis after getting the tar beat out of him in Ireland, and I fully expect Navy, but this is a 49-point spread? Sorry, can't do it. Give me Wagner. Navy's going to put it on them, but they're going to call off the Dogs, I'm hoping. Give me a 49-3 final. Wagner covers. Don't bet this game. Do not bet this game. Texas Southern's taking on Toledo. Toledo's laying 41. Toledo's laying 41, and 41 points. It's a big number. Toledo should have beat Illinois a week ago. I think they put it on Texas Southern. I will lay the 41 against Michael Strahan's alma mater. Next up, we go to Richmond taking on Michigan State. These teams have never played before. The Spiders, been a great FCS school for the past 30 years, I feel like. Michigan State found their rhythm in the second half against Central Michigan. And Richmond, obviously, Reese Udinsky, all those guys, even their OC bounces out to Western Michigan. They're an air raid team down there with the Spiders, but they're catching 29.5, 30. I actually think we got to lay it. I don't think they're ready for this. I think, there's too much inexperience here with the Spiders. lay the 30 with Mel Tucker and Sparty, as I think they move to 2-0. Fascinated by this next matchup. Southern Illinois, Northern Illinois. This is the way things should be, in my opinion. This game should happen every year. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Put it on the schedule every year. They've been playing since 1931. All right? Salukis actually won the last matchup in DeKalb. I'm fascinated by this game. Because you have Northern Illinois, Rocky Lombardi, related to Vince Lombardi, coming off of a gigantic win against Boston College where they paid him over $1 million. And the Salukis don't look now. I ate shit on this bet. I actually thought that was going to be a game against Austin Peay. Nick Baker, lighting it up. 9.5 yards of completion, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I know the run game was, needs some help, but the receiving game. Deontay Cox, Isaiah Hardup, super impressed by the Salukis' performance. So when I look and I see this line sitting there at, the Salukis getting 3.5, I say you take it. It's a great letdown spot for Northern Illinois. I think Northern Illinois, this is going to be a close game. I'm excited to watch this one. Like I said, if there's like 5 games, I've already mentioned 3 of them. Samford, Western Carolina, Holy Cross, Boston College. I like this matchup right here. Maybe 6 games. Maybe 6 games that I really, really, really love. Moving along. Maine, North Dakota State. Black Bears almost beat the Airport FIU. Meanwhile, North Dakota State looked good again. Looked, I think, better than what people thought against Eastern Washington. But at the same time, the Black Bears, they're not the same program they are. North Dakota State's laying 35 points. I think you should take Maine, though. Take Maine. Give me the 35. North Dakota State still needs to prove it to me as far as, especially with the running clock and everything. Take the 35. I don't feel good about that one. Lehigh, Merrimack, getting it done on the field. NEC front row app. Lehigh coming off of a beatdown by 28 by the Villanova Wildcats. Meanwhile, Merrimack, 22-point loss to Holy Cross. There's no shame in that, in either of the losses, really. It makes for a compelling game this Saturday, at the Duane Stadium there in Massachusetts. The last time they played, Lehigh did win 10-3, but I fully expect Merrimack's laying 11. I think we lay it. I think they bounce back. I think Merrimack's better than what we think. Lay it against Lehigh, but it'll be interesting to see. Incarnate Word's taking on Northern Colorado. Obviously, Incarnate Word loses at UTEP. All those transfers. There was a lot to ask to come in and beat an FBS Week 1. Northern Colorado also looked like it was Lamb's first game. Relax. But Northern Colorado is getting 15 points, and I don't think they should. I think we take Incarnate Word minus the 15 here. I think Incarnate Word dub bounces back. I didn't see enough out of Northern Colorado. I think it's a pretty decent play. The only thing is it's on the road, but I like laying the 15. We got a lot more on the schedule, but before we get to the next game, I want to tell you that the FCS College Football Experience is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every single NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into the Hall of Fame Bets revolutionary parlay optimizer tool, and you'll get hit rates broken down by each leg, all right, as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate. It's absolutely fantastic, all right? It's going to tell you which players are hot, which ones are not, which ones are value picks. So stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use the promo code SGPN for 50% off the first month starting today. Start researching. Start winning with Hall of Fame Bets, baby. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog Fantasy is a way to play alongside your favorite football team all season long. With their fantasy pick'em game, you can pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on their stat projection, then do what you do every Saturday and Sunday. Sit your ass down and watch all the games. Let's go. All right, you can win up to 20 times the amount of money you enter in a single game by going 5 for 5. So it's a fantasy contest, but you can win real money, people. So watch a lot. I already talked about underdogs I like. All right? I got a couple others we're going to talk about, but I've already, holy cross, Crusaders, let's go. So watch along, make picks, and maybe make a little cash on Underdog's mobile app or website, UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. Savannah State, they used to be FCS. They're taking on Bethune-Cookman. Watch out. Savannah State might be able to get them. Shannon Sharp's alma mater. Savannah State needs some of that Shannon Sharp money. Come back to the FCS. Portland State's taking on Wyoming. I'm super impressed. I profited. I was on Wyoming money line against Texas Tech, and I had that parlayed with Colorado on the money line, and I've been basically bathing in cash because of that. That was like the best parlay I've hit in a while. So I hope you cashed in. Listen to the FBS show, too. Wyoming is, this is a team I'm high on. When I went to Mountain West Media Day out here in Vegas, and I was really impressed with the confidence Craig Bohl had in his team, returning 10 of 11 starters on the defensive side of the ball. Andrew Peasley back at the quarterback spot. And meanwhile, Portland State's coming off a game where they lost by 74 points or something. Interesting here. Letdown spot for Wyoming after a gigantic win. And Wyoming's not traditionally the type of team to really blow you out. They're not really built for that. But at the same time, they are laying 30.5. Give me Portland State to cover the 30.5. Give me Wyoming 35-7, maybe 35-14. The Wyoming Cowboys get it done. Shout out to the fine people watching the show live out here. By the way, folks, you can come catch us live. We are recording live in Vegas at the beautiful Wynn Casino. We're in the Blue Wire studio. Shout out to the crew behind the scenes making this happen. We move along. Next game on the slate, and I am excited to see Colorado Mesa against San Diego, but we don't have a line on that. Let's get to Cal Poly San Jose State. I'm fascinated by this matchup. San Jose State 0-2. Chevin Cordero, very good quarterback. Even Jay Butterfield, the backup, looked good. I think they're a lot better than 0-2. They just played USC and Oregon State. But Cal Poly is a fun story. They get the 5-star Hiers coming in at the quarterback spot. They get that John Madden $35 million donation. I'm ready to watch the Mustangs dominate. Let's go. They coming off a 27-10 win against the Toreros. Maybe they can give maybe they can give Sparty a game. And this is a game that I like to see on the schedule. I like seeing this back on the schedule because, this is one that I think goes back to 1923. And, I know Cal Poly's only beaten them once in 1958, but I like it back on the schedule. Regionality, we love college football for that. San Jose State, though, is laying 31 points. I think they're probably going to lay it on Cal Poly. Cal Poly, you're in year two. You're in game two. I feel like San Jose State's in game three. There's an advantage, and they're hungry for that first win. They had a sellout last week. Dick Vermeil was there. I think San Jose State lays it on Cal Poly. But I'm excited to watch Cal Poly all year and see what happens to the St. Louis Obispo. Next up, we jump to good old Northern Arizona. The Potato Bowl. This is a fun one to watch. This one didn't make my top 6 games of the week, but it's right on the outside as Northern Arizona heads to North Dakota. Fascinated by this one. Obviously, the Potato Bowl's fun. Grand Forks, North Dakota. North Dakota looked pretty good, beating the tar out of Drake 55-7. Meanwhile, Northern Arizona did not look great as they took on the Arizona Wildcats and lost 38-3. I'm a bit interested to see, Northern Arizona, obviously Martinez bounced out to Baylor at their quarterback spot, so they went with Kai Milner, who was 14 of 22, 166 yards. So I actually think they might have something with him. But I think North Dakota, is this the year that North Dakota really, steps up and makes a deep run into the FCS playoffs? Tommy Schuster at the quarterback spot. Perhaps it is. This line, though, sitting there at North Dakota laying 16.5. I think it's a little bit too many points. I'll take NIU, the Lumberjacks, to bounce back after playing a tough Power 5 team and Jaden DeLora and the Arizona Wildcats. So give me the points. That's a top 10 game right there. That is a top 10 game. Let's watch that one. This is another one that's super fun because we love college football. We love regionality. Illinois State's taking on Western Illinois. This is a game that goes back to 1904, people. 1904. And guess what? The Leathernecks, although terrible last year, and I cashed in on, I faded them last week. I took New Mexico State and they cashed. But Western Illinois played better than I thought they would, to tell you the truth. But they also lead the all-time series against the, Redbirds of Illinois State, 52-50. It's also been 3 ties. But I like this game on the schedule. And you sit there and look at this one, and you say, wait, Illinois State's laying 13. Now, we did lock up Illinois State a week ago, and Illinois State beat the shit out of Dayton. We were all in that. Hope you tailed us on that. 41-0, dominating performance. I still think we got to go Illinois State here, even though it's on the road. And it's a rivalry game. I mean, it's a lot of points for a rivalry game. Actually, it was a 7-point game a year ago. You know what? Give me the Leathernecks at home in the points. They keep it close. Excited to watch this one. Top 10, in my opinion, because of the history. Let's go. All right, next up. Somewhat intrigued by this one. Southeast Louisiana is coming off that loss in Starkville to Mississippi State. Now they head to Mobile, Alabama, to take on South Alabama, who I lost money on a week ago because I thought they'd be able to cover and maybe even win outright against Tulane. That did not happen. Tulane looked really good. So this is one where I feel like I'm somewhat intrigued, but I kind of expect South Alabama to bounce back. South Bama's laying 25. I'll take the points in Sela, but 25 points. Give me South Alabama like 42-20. Get a cover. Get a cover with the Lions, but I don't feel great about that one. Don't take that one. Austin Peay's taking on Tennessee. This game's brutal. This game is one you don't want to watch. The line is sitting there at Tennessee minus 39. Lay it. Austin Peay looked terrible. Fordham's taking on Buffalo. That's somewhat of an intriguing game to me. Buffalo looked a lot better than I thought against Wisconsin. Covered for us. But Fordham kind of opened it up, got some things going. Obviously, they lost a lot from a year ago. Tim DeMorat off to the NFL. Their backup transfers to Old Dominion, follows their offensive coordinator that goes to Old Dominion. And Fordham, C.J. Montez, I thought, looked pretty good a week ago. 319 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Damn right you're looking good. So I think this game's a little more interesting than it appeared to be a couple weeks ago. The number is sitting there at, where is this line? Buffalo minus 22. I actually think you got to lay the 22. I was impressed with Buffalo. Maybe that 1 point gets you a cover, but I think you got to lay it. Moving along, we got a lot on the slate. Duquesne taking on West Virginia. People don't know this. Duquesne leads the all-time series against West Virginia. Yeah, I repeat. The Duquesne Dukes, this game goes back to 1914, by the way, and I love this little Pittsburgh. This is an appetizer for the backyard brawl. Next week, we get the backyard brawl, West Virginia, Pitt. Well, this week, you get Duquesne, who's located in Pittsburgh, heading to Morgantown. They're going for the Pittsburgh sweep. This is one, though, Duquesne leads the all-time series. That's a 1-game lead. They won the last matchup by 19. Who am I to fade the Dukes of Duquesne? But this line is going to be it's going to be quite massive, though. Where are we at here with this? Dub V's laying 42. Give me the Dukes. They're covering 42. Let's go. St. Francis is taking on Robert Morris. Robert Morris hopefully has their uniforms this week because they didn't when they went to Air Force. Bernard Clark's got his work cut out for him, former Miami Hurricane linebacker, the head coach of Bob Morris. And St. Francis, PA, I think, is due for a bounce-back spot. St. Francis is laying 21. I think we lay the 21. I don't feel good about it. Lay the 21, though. Lafayette, Duke. This is a game that I think is just going to be just a gigantic blowout. Duke's laying 45 points. Give me Lafayette. Nah, I don't know. I can't do that. I'll lay it with Duke. Duke was impressive. It's a letdown spot, but what point does Elko call off the Dogs Actually, give me Lafayette plus 42, maybe 42.5. Shop around. This is a top 10 matchup here. Kennesaw State, Chattanooga. Obviously, we know Kennesaw State jumping to the FBS next year. Chattanooga, the Mocs. They got aspirations. They think they can make the FCS playoffs this year. Sitting there in the SoCon. If you look back at the Week 1 performances, Chattanooga lost to North Alabama by 14. Well, they thought they could be an FCS playoff team. When you have a loss like that, it's not a good start. Kennesaw State, though, obviously an independent this year, but they beat Tusculum by 31. Chattanooga, if they want any chance of somehow reviving their season, they need to get this done here against Kennesaw, as Kennesaw prepares to jump to the FBS. This line sitting at, where am I at here? Chattanooga minus 9.5. I'll take the points in Kennesaw. Based on the what I saw a week ago, give me the points in Kennesaw. Wofford, William and Mary. This is Sean Watson. Narduzzi did him a solid. Went light on him. Only lost by 38 at Pitt. And meanwhile, William and Mary, Mike London, great win against the Campbell Camels as Walter Zabel Stadium is going to be rocking this Saturday. This is one William and Mary's laying 15.5. Flow Sports, good luck. Give me the 15.5, though. Maybe Wofford can keep it close. Give me the 15.5. Maybe I'm stupid, but I don't love this play. But let's go. Norfolk State's taking on Hampton. And this is the classic, man. This is a great game. It's a rivalry game here we got going on at Armstrong Stadium. But Hampton did cash in for me last week as they beat Grambling, covered the 3.5. Norfolk State, though, lost to Virginia State, who is not in the FCS. Got some questions about the Spartans moving forward. But this is a rivalry game, so we throw the record books out here. I'm trying to find the line on this game. I think I have it somewhere in my notes here. This line is sitting at, where is this game? I don't know. Maybe I don't have it right now. That seems to be one that is not out there. But even if so, I like Hampton minus 16.5. It's there. It's a lot of points. Give me Norfolk State to cover it. I know that sounds crazy. They just got whooped, but it's a rivalry game. Give me the points. Colgate taking on Villanova. Nova's laying, 30 points, I think? 24.5, not 30. 24.5, Nova's laying. I think you should lay it. Did you see Colgate against Syracuse? They look terrible. And I think, watch out, Nova's playing better ball. Valparaiso, watch out against Indiana Wesleyan. Dangerous game there for the Crusaders. Monmouth in Towson, CAA action. Monmouth's laying 3.5. I think we lay it. Miles taking on Alabama State. Elon Gardner-Webb. This is one of my top 6. I'm excited about this one. You have Gardner-Webb, who I thought was super impressive against, in defeat. They lost in Boone. But I was impressed. Matthew Codwell at the quarterback spot. For 3 quarters, they were in that game. I love the running backs, Gaither, Nari Gaither at the running back spot. I think they're going to be able to. This is in Boiling Springs. They're at home against Elon. I get it. Elon lost by, 20 points, 21 points or something to Wake Forest. But if you look at what happened in that game, Matthew Downing, the La Tech and TCU transfer, comes in, and I know that he only threw 7 passes, and then after that it was Justin Allen. Either way, I think, both these teams we could be seeing in the FCS playoffs. It's a big opportunity for Elon to bounce back. I think it's one of the better games of the day. And this game's at a pick. It's at a pick. I like Gardner-Webb to get it done at home. Let's go. Running Bulldogs. Moving along. Morgan State's taking on Akron. These teams have played before, surprisingly. This is one where I think Akron, I was on Akron against Temple. Money line didn't hit. Akron was up like 85% of the game. But E.J. Warner and the Owls came storming back. Akron is laying 24.5 points. It's a big number. But I actually think we lay it. Let's go. Joe Moorhead, first win of the season. Houston Christian's taking on Western Kentucky. this game's going to be terrible, in my opinion. I mean, even though Houston Christian looked better than I thought, but it's just, man, I just think it's a bad spot for them. It's a bad spot for them. They have played before. This is not the first matchup of the season, believe it or not, of their history, not of the season. I can't talk. Western Kentucky's laying 49 points. You know what? Give me Houston Christian in the points. Do I feel good about it? No. Should you bet this? No. Northwestern State's taking on La Tech, and this is one that's interesting because Northwestern State, this is a rivalry. This is something that goes back to 1922, and La Tech won the last matchup in 2017, but in 2014, the game before, so 2 times ago, Northwestern State scored an upset against the Bulldogs. Sign me up for this fun. But La Tech's laying 26. Northwestern State lost their top guys in the portal, so I think this is something where I actually think we got to lay it. I think we got to lay it. Lane College and Alabama A&M. North Alabama, Tarleton State. I'm intrigued by this because North Alabama wins against Chattanooga, and they played Mercer a lot better than I think any of us thought. And they head to Tarleton, Texas to take on Tarleton State. This is a UAC game that I think is all of a sudden heated up better than we thought it would be 2 weeks ago. And when you look at what North Alabama's been doing now, if you got a chance to watch that Week 0 game, you saw, they have Noah Walters at the quarterback spot, but they also get TJ Smith involved, and I think it makes it hard to prep for them. TJ Smith can run, and on the other side, obviously, you have Tarleton State, where this is a team that is investing in football. They're going in the right direction. They believe Victor Gabalis is their quarterback. He just threw for 344 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks though in that blowout win against McNeese. Intrigued by this matchup some. Probably just outside my top 10 matchups, but Tarleton State's only laying a point. Fascinated by that. I'm taking Tarleton, though, at home. I'm following the money. Give me Tarleton. Fascinated by this matchup. Let's go. Let's watch this one. Idaho taking on Nevada. I'm certainly fascinated by this matchup because Nevada's laying a field goal. This wasn't a pick, I think, when I did this the other day, but I've seen a field goal right now. I think Idaho's the better team. Watch out. Giovanni McCoy. I'll take the Idaho Vandals to win outright in Reno. This is a great game. I want to watch this game. This is another one, folks, if you love college football. This goes back a ways, 1935. And the series was very close, but Nevada's pulled. They got a 13-game lead now. Idaho hasn't won against Nevada since 99. This is their opportunity. This is their opportunity for the Vandals. If they're going to be a serious contender, get this win right here. And it will help you because, let's be honest, it's going to be hard to win the Big Sky. Montana State, Montana, Weber State, UC Davis. You got teams looking really good. You get this win, helps you on that Selection Sunday. Then we have this one. Always fascinated by this one. North Carolina Central, North Carolina A&T. This is a longtime rivalry. Shout out to Terrell Furman Jr. as he's always, he's an A&T grad. And this is a big-time game in the state of North Carolina. Love this game on the schedule. And you look, Trey Oliver and North Carolina Central won the Celebration Bowl. They returned Davis Richard at the quarterback spot. They're loaded. They seem to be primed for a deep run, maybe a national championship run again, But at the same time, rivalry game. A&T, brand new head coach, Vincent Brown, former Bill Parcells linebacker of the New England Patriots. They lost by 15 a year ago, but they didn't have Vincent Brown a year ago. And A&T, they lost by 29 to UAB, but that's not a terrible loss. So you look at this game, and this one's on my top 10. I got to watch this. It's fun to watch these rivalry games. But this is one where you look at the spread and you say, okay, what's really going to happen here? A&T is laying 3. I'm sorry. Central is laying 3. I thought that spread would be a lot higher, but I guess you have the rivalry aspect here. But I'm taking Central all day. I know it's at A&T. I think College Football Campus Tour is going to be at this game. Shout out to him, Michael Barker. Give him a follow on Twitter at CFB Campus Tour. fascinated by this game, and yeah, can't wait for it. And then, folks, the game of the day. Talked to my guy Stone Labanowitz today. He's on his way to Brookings, South Dakota for Montana State, South Dakota State. This is what we've been waiting for. This is the best non-con game, at least from a preseason standpoint. This is like Alabama, Texas. People are talking about Alabama, Texas, and the FBS front is the non-con game of the year. I would say this is the FCS non-con game of the year here. These teams, and South Dakota State seems to have had their number since the year, I think they first started playing in 2004 or something. But John Stiegelmeier's gone. He's no longer the head coach. It's now, so there's intrigue in that capacity. I know they're loaded. Everyone's got South Dakota State winning it all. But Jimmy Rogers, we've never seen him be the main guy. So Gronowski's back at quarterback. I get it. They're loaded. The receiver position, the offensive line, the defensive line, they're loaded. But on the other side of this, and by the way, like if you haven't watched South Dakota State, I think you will enjoy the Janke brothers. But anyway, yes. Montana State, though, on the other side of this, they've been prepping for this. This is what they've been talking about all offseason. They want revenge. Tommy Mellott, Sean Chambers, the two quarterback monster that they got. Scotty Humphrey. I'm sorry, I said Scotty Montgomery, the former ECU coach. I can't wait to watch this matchup. I'm fascinated by it. I'm like I feel like the public or everybody is thinking South Dakota State's going to probably run away with it, and that's fair because they've been such a wagon lately. But SDSU is laying 9 points right now. I'm seeing. I think we should lay it. Unfortunately, I think we should lay it. As much as I like Mellott, I think you got to lay it. I just think they're loaded. So, sorry, Bobcat fans. I think that's the play. That's obviously the best game of the day. That's the number one game of the day to watch. And that's on a slate. That's just a loaded slate. We have a few other games. Arkansas Pine Bluff taking on Tennessee State in Memphis, Tennessee. Pine Bluff is getting 13.5 points. Obviously, Tennessee State coming off the Notre Dame loss. I actually think you lay it with Eddie George. I think it's a solid play in Memphis. Pine Bluff, it's gonna take a little bit. I think Eddie George is going to handle business against them. Lindenwood taking on Southeast Missouri State. SEMO's laying 19, even though Lindenwood, winning 77-9 against Wisconsin Stevens Point. Flex, baby. The penitentiary of Lindenwood. It's not too many points, actually. I think SEMO's still going to beat them down after that K-State loss. I like laying the points with SEMO. Jackson State Southern, this is a rivalry that goes back quite a ways, and Jackson State's laying 2 points that I'm seeing right now. I think you lay it. Jason Brown, they get back. We were on Florida A&M last Sunday in the Orange Blossom Classic. I think Jackson State bounces back. They get it done on the road in Baton Rouge. Let's go. Lay the 2 points. Missouri State taking on UT Martin. I'm intrigued by this game. UT Martin looked really good against Georgia. And Missouri State looked better than what I thought against Kansas, especially the first half. So I'm actually intrigued to watch this matchup. UT Martin's laying 5. I think we lay the 5, but I don't feel very confident after watching Missouri State the other day. I am excited to watch Northwestern Iowa take on Drake. Northwestern Iowa won the D2 National Championship a year ago. Watch out, Drake. Watch out. Morehead State and Mercer. This game will be a bloodbath, as it was, I feel like, a year ago. But Mercer, not necessarily. Mercer's laying 47.5 points. Give me Morehead in the points. I'm not sold on Mercer this year. I thought I would be more sold. Florida A&M is taking on South Florida, the Bulls. The Bulls just got a huge amount of money. Huge amount of money to build a new stadium. Alex Galesh, the new head coach, but Florida A&M, Jeremy Mosa, Willie Simmons. I was on them on Sunday. They look good. The Rattlers are catching, I believe, what was it, 17? Let me double check on this. They are catching, where's this game? I believe it is 17. 18 actually. They're catching 18 points. Give me the Rattlers and the points. Watch out. Watch out. This could be another money line play here. Alcorn State's taking on Stephen F. Austin. This is actually one of the better games as well. Both teams lost a week ago, but I thought SFA looked pretty good in their loss. Super fascinated by this game. I would say this is a top 15 game of the week. Alcorn, though, is laying a what is this number? I'm sorry, Stephen F. Austin is laying 16.5. I think we should lay it. I think they get it done. Moving along, Abilene Christian taking on Prairie View. AC is laying 9.5 points against my guy Bubba McDowell in Prairie View. This is an interesting one to me because I feel like Abilene's not as good as I thought they would be, but I think at the end of the day you got to lay it. I think you got to lay the 9. Only a few more games left, folks. The SEC plays a ton of games against the FCS. That is Furman, South Carolina, little brother. Wasn't super impressed with Furman week 1. This is an intriguing angle, but I think South Carolina, the way that they lost that game, I think they bounce back and get it, and make a statement against Furman despite it being little brother. So I know that spread I think is at 19 or 20. 20 I think I'm seeing right now. I think you lay it with South Carolina. I think they put it on them. Florida's laying 46.5 against McNeese. I think you lay it. Grambling and LSU are doing battle. Obviously, Brian Kelly and his family need to have a big-time win. LSU's laying 57 points. Oh, man. Come on, Grambling. Give me Grambling in the point. No, I don't. Yeah, give me Grambling in the points. I don't know. Don't bet this game. Nichols is taking on TCU. TCU's laying 42. Lay it. Bounce back spot. Lamar, Louisiana Monroe, ULM. This is a game that goes back a ways. It's a game that goes back a ways. I like this game on the schedule. ULM's laying 31.5, though. Obviously, Lamar's been ass lately. 31.5 is a lot of points, though. Give me Lamar in the points. Tennessee Tech. Golden Eagles are taking on New Mexico. I know GBO Farms was talking about this matchup. New Mexico's laying 21 points. I actually think you should lay it, even though Tennessee Tech looked all right against, who was it? Furman? I'm still laying it, though, in Albuquerque. Idaho State, Utah State. This game goes back to like the early 1900s. Love this game on the schedule. Idaho State, Cody Hawkins, out the gate. Impressive performance in San Diego. Utah State is laying this number sitting, where's this game at? I want to say 24.5 points. Too many points. Give me the Bengals getting 24.5 against Cooper Lagasse and Utah State. Only a few more games left, folks. I know I'm just sitting here rambling. Montana is heading to Zion National Park, take on Utah Tech. This is Montana. That Butler game was intriguing, and Utah Tech is catching 15.5 points. Give me Utah Tech in the points. I don't know if I'm buying in to Bobby Hawk and the Grizzlies as much this year. Texas A&M Commerce is taking on Sac State. Sac State's laying 29.5 points. Too many points. I know Sac State looked great. I know Commerce has got an arena football head coach. I don't care. Let's go. Give me the 29.5. Too many points. Eastern Washington is taking on Fresno State. Eastern Washington didn't look like they really got a lot better, maybe a little bit. But they're heading to Fresno, California to take on the Bulldogs. Coming off a gigantic – talk about a letdown spot potentially for the Bulldogs. But, I had a chance to interview Jeff Tedford this offseason. I'm all in on Tedford, man. I think such an underrated coach. Fresno's laying 26. Lay it. Let's lock that. Let's lock that. They're gonna take them down. Let's go Bulldogs. UC Davis, only 2 games left, folks. UC Davis taking on Oregon State. Oregon State laying 22 points. I know Dan Hawkins. It's the Big 12! But Dan Hawkins does an unbelievable good job, I think, at UC Davis. But this is a buzzsaw. They pissed off Oregon State. 22 points, not enough for me. I will lock up Oregon State minus 22 against UC Davis. This is going to get ugly. It's going to get up. Look what happened to Montana State when they went to Corvallis last year. Final game of the night, Reese Poffenberger heading and the Albany Great Danes, who almost knocked off Marshall last week in Huntington, heading to the island to take on Hawaii, the Rainbow Warriors. Unfortunately, their head coach did not make the trip. I think he has COVID, but they're not really saying it. But he didn't make the trip. He's sick. Best wishes with him. Hawaii's laying 6 points. Timmy Chang. You know what we do here, folks. We have a theory. You know, it's hard to go to Hawaii. Hawaii, -6. Actually, sorry, Reese. Timmy Chang's getting his first win of the season. Shaker Bombs, quarterback for the Rainbow Warriors, going to throw for like 350. Even though I like Albany and I think they're going to be a player in the CAA, I think you got to ride with Rainbow Warriors to get their first win of the season. Folks, that's our show. We have a loaded slate. I'll be live Saturday morning from our studios, SGPN studios in Los Angeles, California. Yeah, I'm flying back tonight. The other guys are staying here in Vegas. If you're in Vegas, hit us up because the whole crew's out there. I'm just coming back. But 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. We'll be live talking about all the matchups. FCS, FBS, we're here. And then we have a recap show Saturday night. So check us out. Give us a follow on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. And, yeah, shout out to Mike Rose. Didn't make it on this episode, but give him a follow at GCG_wins. And that's our show, folks. Subscribe to the College Football Experience, sg.pn/FCS. We're on YouTube. You can watch it. YouTube.com/the College Experience. I also host the FBS show, the College Football Experience. I also host the College Basketball Experience, the College Baseball Experience. And we have the Big 12 Experience now out there. I'm not a part of that show, but it's part of the family. All those are separate podcasts. Subscribe to all of them. We come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the College Experience. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast as they go live from Vison tonight. And they handicap every single NFL game. So what are you doing, folks? Check it out. All right, folks, until next time, this is the FCS College Football Experience Week 2 preview and pick style. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And the whole team's looking and the whole world's looking with the cameras. Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And you know what you're getting 'cause the book's rewritten with the cameras. Everybody's trying to stop this team, but we keep on knocking them dead. They make opposing coaches wanna cuss and scream and pull their hair right out of their head. Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And the whole team's looking and the whole world's looking with the cameras. Never did a town in a team so lively. We waited now for all these years to watch Tim Kelly throw all those passes with the pretty high rollers leading all the cheers. Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. Run and shoot. We can